Okay, this is an explanation of why this Wheel of Fortune deck is totally broken. So, here we have an example of an open hand. Here I have 7 cards. I've got a Ruby Medallion, I've got 2 Mountains, I've got a Rite of Flame, I've got a Wheel of Fortune, a Simian Spirit Guide, and a Manamorphose. Okay, so, turn 1, I play the Mountain. I play my Rite of Flame to add 2 mana to my mana pool, and that allows me to play Ruby Medallion. Alright, so that's my first turn. Second turn, I draw a card. I draw Seething Song. So, now with my second mana, I have 2 mana to play with. So, because I have Ruby Medallion in play, that reduces the casting cost of Manamorphose by 1 colorless, as it is a red spell. So I can play Manamorphose for 1 mana, add 2 mana to my mana pool, and draw a card. So now I have 2 mana in my mana pool. Okay? Seething Song costs 3. Ruby Medallion reduces it by 1. So for 2 mana, I will play Seething Song, which allows 5 mana in my mana pool. Alright? I will remove Simian Spirit Guide from the game to add 6 mana to my mana pool. I will then play Wheel of Fortune, reduced casting cost again, for 2, which leaves 4 mana in my mana pool. I discard my hand and draw 7 cards. Now this is all still turn 2, alright? So I've got floating 4 mana in my mana pool. So for 2, on my next hand here, I will play another Ruby Medallion, which leaves 2 mana in my mana pool. Seething Song costs 2 colorless and a red, but I have 2 Ruby Medallions in play, which reduces the casting cost by 2 colorless. So I can then play Seething Song for 1 red to add 5 mana to my mana pool. If I play another like Rite of Flame, it adds 2 and then adds another 1, etc., etc. I can play things like Browbeat, reduced casting cost, allows me to draw 3 cards or my opponent takes 5 damage, their choice. And then I also have Recoups and other faithlessly looting to get through decks and to pull cards from my graveyard. So what's the whole point of this, though? What's the point of cycling through all of these cards when you're not really doing any damage? Well, that all comes out to Grape Shot and Past in Flames. So once I've cycled through my deck, on like the second hand, I have the ability to recoup the Wheel of Fortune in my graveyard so I can play it again for 1 red mana and draw another 7 cards. So the idea is you cycle through a couple hands, play a whole bunch of spells, and then you play Past in Flames, which allows you to replay all of the cards that you've already played. Seething Song, Rite of Flame, Browbeat, Manamorphose, etc. You can play them all again to add even more mana to your mana pool. And so every time you have to keep track with this deck of how many spells you've played in a turn, because the kill shot is Grape Shot because it has Storm, and you make a copy of it for every spell previously played on the turn. Now, if I've gone through 3 or 4 hands at least and played all of these 1 and 2 drop spells, this Grape Shot's going to hit for a lot. And then I can go ahead and recoup Grape Shot to do it again. And then I could Past in Flames and cast more stuff. And you get the idea. The concept is everything in the deck either adds mana to my mana pool, makes me draw cards, or is a kill card. So that's how the deck works. And usually it ends up killing between turn 2 and 6. 6 is about as long as I've ever seen it take. So that's the deck.